Some true crime cases are brutal, some are bizarre, and some are so strange, they'll keep you up at night. Today, we're counting down 30 creepy true crime and dark history facts. All of them real, and all of them chilling. Let's get into it. The man who attended his own funeral. In 2007, Brazilian man Gilberto Araujo walked into his own funeral, alive, after police misidentified a body. His family nearly fainted. The dead body that solved a murder. In 1898, outlaw Elmer McCurdy was embalmed and displayed at carnivals for decades, until a film crew realized it was an actual corpse. The phone call from the dead case. In 2008, a man's body was found in his wrecked car, but his phone kept calling friends and family for hours after he had died. The silent twins. June and Jennifer Gibbons spoke only to each other in a secret language, until one mysteriously died, and the other suddenly spoke to everyone. The boy who solved a 27-year-old cold case. A 12-year-old playing in the woods found a skull. It belonged to a man who had been missing for nearly 3 decades. The coffins that move by themselves. In Barbados, the Chase family vault's coffins were found rearranged every time the tomb was opened, with no signs of forced entry. The hotel room that stayed locked. And bloody in 1935, police found a man dead in a locked hotel room. No weapon, no forced entry. The case remains unsolved. The woman who woke up at her own autopsy. In 2018, a South African woman declared dead began breathing on the morgue table. Terrifying workers. The painting that changes expressions. Visitors swear the Mona Lisa's smile shifts from warm to cold depending on your viewing angle, a psychological phenomenon called perceptual bias. The serial killer who worked as a clown. John Wayne Gacy entertained kids as Pogo the Clown, while hiding the remains of 29 victims beneath his home. The man who disappeared from a plane. Mid-flight. In 1971, hijacker D.B. Cooper parachuted out of a Boeing 727 with $200,000 and vanished forever. The missing lighthouse keepers. In 1900, 3 keepers vanished from the Flannan Isles lighthouse. The door was locked, meals half-eaten, and no one was ever found. The ghost ship with no crew. The Mary Celeste was found adrift in 1872. Cargo intact, no crew, no struggle. The man who called the police. About himself. In 1989, a man confessed to a murder he hadn't committed. Turns out, he was the killer, and gave details only the murderer could know. The human doll maker. Russian man Anatoly Moskvin dug up corpses of young girls and dressed them as dolls to keep in his home. The cemetery where the dead don't stay buried. In early 1900s, New Orleans, floods would send coffins floating down the streets. The man who lived with a stranger's corpse. A Japanese man discovered a homeless woman had been secretly living in his crawlspace for a year. She was caught on his security camera. The room that kills cameras. A Savannah, Georgia, bedroom is said to destroy every camera that tries to film it, even police evidence photos. The murderer who was on a dating show. Rodney Alcala appeared on the dating game in 1978. In the middle of his killing spree. The man who solved a murder. Using Google Earth. A Florida man spotted a car submerged in a pond on Google Earth. Inside was a man missing for 22 years. The doctor who prescribed his patient's death. British doctor Harold Shipman killed over 200 patients. One of the most prolific serial killers in history. The coffin alarm system. In the 1800s, safety coffins came with bells above ground, in case someone was buried alive. The real House of Horrors. In 2017, David and Louise Turpin's 13 children were found chained, starved, and isolated for years. The bride who vanished on her wedding day. In 1947, a newlywed vanished from her reception. Her body was later found in the attic of the venue. The skeleton under the bed. Hotel staff in Kansas City found a human skeleton under a bed, after multiple guests had stayed in the room. The man who claimed to time travel. In 2003, Andrew Carlson claimed he was from the year 2256 and made $350 million in the stock market. The train passenger who was never seen again. In 1969 Tokyo, a man went into a train restroom and was gone when it arrived. The serial killer who ran a funeral home. A South African funeral director was caught killing victims to boost his own business. The hotel that has a no 13th floor rule. Many hotels skip the 13th floor, but one Chicago hotel keeps it hidden for VIP guests who never check out. The killer who used ice bullets. A murderer allegedly used frozen bullets in the 1960s that melted after the crime, leaving no evidence. Which of these creeped you out the most? Let me know in the comments. And if you love strange, creepy true crime, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one.